I have something that I can make quickly, like if it's not already ready for me, if there's not leftovers, something that I can make quickly. So like burger patties, I can make those in a
Mhm.
couple minutes, right? Or like eggs. Again, I could
Yes.
throw those in a couple minutes. So if I'm starving, it's something that I can do without too much effort. So I always have to have those things on hand. Like, are those my absolute favorite carnivore foods ever? No. Like, I prefer picanha. Well, my picanha takes 2 hours.
Mhm.
So that's something I save for the weekend, for example. Okay. On the weekdays, I will eat a lot of things that are fast because I come home, generally speaking, and I'm hungry. And so I got to cook it fast. Or the other option is slow. And by slow, I don't mean 2 hours. Like to me, that 2 hours is not slow. I'm talking slow cooker all day slow. So something that before I go
Yes.
to work, I drop it in the slow cooker, like chuck roast or pork shoulder or something. And when I come home, it's ready for me. And all I got to do is like shred it up and eat it.
Yes, and some go-tos that I always have, so I wanna talk about, like, little grab and go things, not the big meals, because you kinda covered some big meals, but I always have these go-to items in my fridge. Hard-boiled eggs, already peeled and in plastic baggies. Bacon, and I cook 2 pounds at a time, right? 2 pounds at a time. We always have pork rinds, and when I first started keto, 9 years ago, I hated pork rinds. They
Really?
became a conduit. I hated them. They were disgusting. And they've grown on me, but during keto time, like, they just became a conduit for sauce, right? Or cheese sauces or salsa or something like that. Now, I'm not really doing those sauces anymore because 'cause I'm kinda more strict carnivore, but you could even melt some butter and dip them in butter, and they're really good that way too. Um, so another thing that's really good is canned meat because canned meat doesn't go bad. So canned chicken, canned beef, canned tuna, canned salmon. Um, and you can take that with you pretty much, not on an airplane, but you can take it with you anywhere. And they also have the little pouches too, right? They have the little pouches of tuna and stuff like that too. And then if you eat dairy, cheese and butter. Okay, so cheese and butter, you always have those in the fridge too. So those are some things that I do that are little things because especially when people first go carnivore, they always it takes a while, and you talked about perfection and everything, but it takes a while to get the snack. I need to have snacks. And in my coaching, what can I have that are snacks? Everybody says the word snack, 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 snack. Now we know that every time you eat a meal, that is or every time you put food in your mouth, that is a meal. Okay. But when people are first starting out, we got to give them some grace. They always want snacks. So those are the things that I would have on a short list of snacks. And then some of the things that I do that meal prep that are easy for me, bigger meals, burgers in the air fryer,
Yes.
scrambled eggs. And you know what? You can cook it. I scramble my eggs for Tuesdays the day before. I kind of undercook them just a little bit so that when I microwave them, they're not like overdone. Pork butt. Again, you can pressure cook it. You can put it in the slow cooker. You can braise it in the oven. And my favorite way is to put it in the smoker and put some smoke to it, right? A chuck roast. That usually pork butt usually lasts us all week. A big pork butt will feed 2 people all week. Chuck roast, that'll feed us 2 days. So,
Mhm.
and you can do that in a pressure cooker, you can do it in a slow cooker, you can smoke it, and you can braise it in the oven. Pork belly. And I have a special way that I cook that, but again, you could do it all those ways. Uh, if you so sides, carnivore sides. Again, eggs. I have eggs every meal. I am an egg freak. But if you get tired of eggs, my husband is eating dairy. I am not. So this would not be an option for me, but he does cottage cheese as a side. You can just pick 2 meats and eat meat, and meat is a side, right?
Yeah.
Or eggs. And then the other one that I really love is heart attack chicken, fried in tallow, fried in bacon grease, or fried in lard.
Yes.
And then an option, a less clean option. I don't do this option, but let's say you really think in your mind that you don't have time, right? Rotisserie chicken, like good, better, best options. This would be a good option, but rotisserie chicken from any place, Costco, Sam's. Now, I can't personally have the rotisserie chickens because they inject them sometimes with gluten and things that I am personally allergic to. But my husband eats the rotisserie chicken and he does just fine. So that would be an option that's less bad, right? So those are kind of my things.
That's funny that you said rotisserie chicken because you're the second Amy on my channel to talk about the good, good, better, best. And that, you know what? Rotisserie chicken is a good option when you're in a hurry. Amy Berger said the same thing. She was like, look, if you're out in a hurry and whatever, yes, it have a little maltodextrin or some wonky stuff in the seasonings or what maybe, but it is a good option compared to some other options that you might do instead. It's not something that I do every day. I probably haven't had one in a couple of years. But would I do it in a pinch if I was like looking around and there was no other meat and that's what I had? I sure would.
Absolutely.
Do that,
Absolutely. Me too.
So there's a lot of people in the chat saying hi. So I just want to shout some of them out. So Brenda was first, and she says, hello from Louisville, Kentucky. Well, hello, Brenda. And a Bacon Runner is here. He meant to say right here, I'm here again. Yes, thank you. And hi, Lynn. Hi, Lynn. I remembered your name, Lynn. Hi, ladies. Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you. And Kathy B here says hi. So hi, Kathy. And thank you, Lynn, for supporting both channels. We appreciate that. If you're whatever channel you're watching from, please do hit the magic thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't. That's awesome. And we have Smoothie here saying hi, Amy and everybody. Smoothie, I have to tell you that 42 is my favorite number. So that's awesome. That's part of your name. And Pretzel Pete. Hello, Pretzel Pete. Nice to see you. How's it going, Peter? How you doing? I know you've gone back strict carnivore. I need an update. Let me know. Okay, so here we go. Bacon Runner says, I'm at a hotel right now. I brought cooked pork belly strips with me. That's kind of like another version of purse bacon, right? Except
yes, purse bacon. That's on my list of comments. Purse bacon.
Yes, I've totally done purse bacon, 100%. Polish sausage and sauerkraut. So Brenda, my son, I don't know if it's considered Polish sausage, but like every day for school lunch, they're like these pre-cooked little sausages and they're cooked already, right? So I just have to cut them up. I just cut them just for ease of eating for him. And yeah, he eats that for lunch every single day. Because I don't have to cook it. I don't have to figure out how to keep it good all day. Like you could cut it up with, I do some cheese cubes, some of that sausage, some pepperoni, throw it in a bag, and he just takes that for lunch every single day. So that's a good tip. Meats that don't necessarily have to be, cooked. They're already that way. So Free Thinker says, hi, Amy and everyone. Well, hi there. And Jamette says, Amy and Christy, hi, listening and helping a neighbor. Well, how awesome of you to be helping your neighbor. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to stop and talk about Kathy's comment about my air fryer just came today and we are trying thighs. The reason why I want to stop and on this comment is because Amy, you mentioned the heart attack chicken, which is chicken. If you don't know what that is, it's chicken either fried in like beef tallow or lard. A lot of people like lard. You could do it either way. But sometimes that's like, it's a process because you have the whole pan, the pot and whatever you're going to use. So what I do in my air fryer with my chicken thighs, if I want the heart attack chicken vibe without having to get the pot all ready, is I take some bacon grease and I brush it all over the outside of that chicken. And then I air fry it. So it gives the heart attack chicken vibe without having to get out the whole pot and doing all of that. The other thing about my air fryer that I get a bunch of hate for is I'll throw a steak in the air fryer because I am not a picky girl. And every time I do that, I get comments, or every time I show that on my channel, I get comments about, you need to cook a steak properly. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, cook your own steak. Eat it the way you want it. I'll eat it the way I want it. I don't want to have to do a bunch of cleaning, bust out the grill. Like, that's a lot of work. So I enjoy I could throw it in my air fryer. I have a Tasty, with the little probe. So it's like cooks it to the perfect temperature every time. Boom.
I bet.
mid rare to rare. It's beautiful. I love it. So I do my steaks that way. And if in a pinch, you can even do it from frozen if you have to, which is super cool. La 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 la. I'm just seeing if there's any more highs. There's other comments. But okay, cool. Looks like we got all the hellos, which was my goal. Awesome. So I just wanted to put up like our next point here. So we're talking about, we've kind of hit on this a little bit, but I feel like consistency beats perfection every time. So part of the reason that I took a 6-month break from YouTube, which I did not intend for it to be 6 months, but once you get out of the whole, like, you know, posting video circuit, it just kind of got away from me. But it was the whole vibe of, it was constant, you know, no matter what you post, you're going to get a bunch of nice people and then some haters. Like I had people making negative comments about my son, like things of that nature. It was like, you know, made the mama bear want to come out. That was not fun. But then also the perfectionists out there, right? Like if you eat something that isn't a, you know, a ribeye, a grass-fed finished ribeye, you know, you're going to get those comments, or people do talk about it. Now, if people have to eat that way, choose to eat that way, whatever, great. I personally don't always do grass-fed and finished beef, although I do have an order for a quarter of a cow that is going to be grass-fed and finished for $11 a pound. I'm very excited about that. I will be more on my channel coming because that's coming. That was a great deal. And I'm supporting a local rancher that's not like 15 miles from my house. So I'm very excited about being able to do that. That is a price that at which I am able to make that happen. But I can't at the store. It's way more than that. And I just can't afford it. And so, you know, I do try to get like healthier chicken and pork options, pasture raised, but beef, I generally have just for years, I've just been eating grocery store beef. So you'll get a lot of comments about that. And so I am 3 years in, feeling great, like doing great, am great, just with consistency. Have I eaten an occasional avocado? Yes. Have I eaten an occasional pickle? Yes. Take my carnivore card. It's fine. Call me a ketovore. Also fine. What do I eat most days? Meat. A whole lot of beef, a whole lot of beef with occasional chicken and even more occasional pork and eggs. A whole lot of eggs and a whole lot of beef. Occasional pork and chicken, a lot of butter, a lot of butter. You know, that's what I eat. But it's the consistency that now is like, it fits right into my lifestyle now. I mean, you know, after 3 years of doing this, right?
I have so much on the consistency to talk about.
Oh, Amy, I knew you did. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna let Amy say her piece.
Okay. So first of all, this whole topic is really important to me about because how many people do we talk to in our personal lives who would love to change their lifestyle, but they're like, I'm too busy. I don't have time, whatever, insert excuse here. But a lot of it has to do with time. I'm a wife. I have a full-time job. I own a health coaching business. I have a day job that's 40 hours a week. I sing in 2 choirs. I have rehearsals on Monday and Wednesday nights for those choirs. I'm the caretaker of a 94-year-old with dementia. My parents hate when I say this. I love you guys, but sorry. My dad has recently had some health issues, and he has had to make some drastic changes in his life. So I'm now cooking meals for them. He has opted to go keto, which I'm fine with because I was successfully keto for 8 years. So I'm helping cook for them. I have an active YouTube channel. And out of all those things, I feel like the YouTube channel is the biggest time suck. It really is.
Yes.
I do it just to stay connected with people and to try to help people. But honestly, if I could quit one thing, it would probably be YouTube, just because. So when people tell me that they don't have time for this lifestyle, I'm like, record scratch noise, alarm bells goes off, like stuff just like fireworks shoot out of my head, right? Because I'm like, seriously, I know you have time for this. If I have time for this, you have time for this. And it's not hard. The biggest hurdle is just getting started. So the first thing that I say is plan ahead. I'm always thinking 2 days ahead with what meal I'm going to have. I always have stuff in the freezer. So like The other day, I cooked a pot roast. When I was cooking the pot roast, I went to the deep freezer and I pulled out pork ribs. After this live stream, I'm going to cook those. I'm going to pull something else out of the deep freezer for the next 2 days, right? So plan ahead. Always think about that way you're not eating the bad stuff. Cook enough for leftovers. I like to cook 2 pounds of bacon at a time, even though that seems to be like it goes fast. I'll just say that it goes fast. So cooking up for leftovers. This means you don't have to cook every day, right? So you have enough for leftovers. And I already named all the things that I cook. Keep the same meals on repeat. If you like something, rotate the same. Make a list of your favorite meals. Make the same meals on repeat. And then every once in a while, when you have some extra time, throw something new in there. Try something new. Try, oxtail or I'm going to be trying beef tongue here soon, which I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch assignment, but keep the same meals on repeat and then just throw some new things in there. And then there was one other thing I wanted to say and I lost it. The other thing I'd like to say to people when they tell me they don't have time, as a health coach, this is most of the time I'm very friendly and nice, but when people talk about this topic, this is where I put my big girl pants on and then I give a little bit of tough love. And then I'm going to ask people to start tracking their time, not just tracking food, but tracking your time. I want to see your screen time on your phones. Okay. I want to see how much TV time you have, because if I actually installed a TV in my kitchen, right? So that I can have it stacked. I can watch my favorite shows while I'm cooking. Okay. So the two things are combined now. Get a TV in your kitchen, get some earbuds for your phone and watch your favorite shows or podcasts on your phone while you're cooking, while you're meal prepping. So this is the part where I have to have a calendar. Have a calendar and carve out time for meal prep or exercise or whatever the thing is. And then keep a consistent schedule. Now, I'm a little weird in that my schedule's not consistent, right? So because of the coaching business and stuff, I may have a client on a Tuesday and then on a Thursday I might be free and then the next week I might be opposite. But for most people, their schedules are almost always the same. So carve out time for yourself to meal prep or exercise or whatever it is. Sorry, I can go on for hours, so I'll stop here on that topic. Just
okay,
because.
well, someone just popped in that I definitely need to shout out because I definitely owe her a thank you. So Josephine is here. On my last live stream where Josephine popped in, she sent me a super sticker and it did come up in the star, it automatically gets like flagged. And then I was like, okay, I definitely need to shout her out. And then it was just, I had a nurse Laura Russell was on and like all the questions were coming in. It was really good. If you haven't seen that later, go back and watch the replay. I mean, she was on fire and she was answering so many people's questions. It was really great. And then it was like we were at the end of the hour and Josephine, your super sticker just got lost. And I'm very, very sorry. And it's not there anymore. Like I can't put it up anymore. But thank you for the super sticker that made my day. And I did see it, and I apologize for not shouting you out when you sent it. But I made a vow to myself, when I see Josephine, I'm going to right away say thank you. So Gemma is saying, Amy, I do think some people don't have enough time in the day and do the best they can. Yeah, we all do the best we can. I feel bad as so many channels and I miss them and feel guilty, right? Just my opinion. Yes, I can't watch everyone's channels. I'm up fairly early. That's the comment I always get. Isn't it like 3 in the morning where you are right now? And I'm like, yes, because my husband's alarm goes off at 3:30. And then guess what? I'm up because I'm not the one that can hear the alarm at 3:30 and then go back to sleep. So before work, I have a good like 2.5 hours. And that's when I work on my channel, kind of listen to like a live stream that's happening. There's a few early morning people like Dr. Kiltz and, Olga Carnivore and those people. And things like that. And then I also will cook, like my son, he likes eggs and sausage. So I'll cook up a whole pound of that sausage at a time. I cook the eggs fresh because that takes 2 minutes to scramble.
Yeah, it does.
But the sausage is cooked up and then it's already, you know, so I put the butter, put the sausage, let that heat through, and then put the eggs. That way I'm only cooking sausage about once a week. Because it's not very much. It's just a little bit of sausage in with his eggs. So that's one example. And I can do that on the weekends, you know, when my schedule is a little more lax for me personally. The other thing is, like Amy was saying, especially for my son, I will tend to batch cook. So he is the boy that I make the chuck roast for. If he did not live here, I probably would not make the chuck roast. My husband will eat it too. But I really make it because my son loves it. And so when I make a chuck roast, if my husband doesn't get into it, that'll last him like 4 meals. If my husband gets into it, it's like 2 meals. You know, but at least it's there for a couple days. Like today, I don't have anything for him currently pre-made. So it depends. Like after this, I have to go pick him up. I will either throw some burger patties in right quick, or I do have some chicken defrosting. So like Amy said, when I noticed his chuck roast was running out like a day and a half ago, I took that chicken out of the freezer. I have to go check it and see if all the ice is gone. And then I'll decide. I'll either bake up that chicken today or tomorrow, but it's 2 packages of chicken. It's probably 12 pieces of chicken, and he only eats 2 at a time. So he's not a big eater. So and then my husband will eat some. So that will last like 3 days once I do finally bake that up. So if I don't have anything batch cooked, it's the frozen burger patties to the rescue, because that just takes a couple minutes, right? It's just a few minutes on each side. Throw a slice of cheese on it. My son eats more dairy than I do. Little salt. He's good to go.
So bacon for me.
Yeah. And so he, you know, that's what I do. So for him, I probably cook twice a week for my son, because we don't eat the same things. Sometimes we'll both eat burger patties on the same night. But you know, chuck roast, I'll eat it in a pinch, but it's not one of my favorites. So like if he's having chuck roast, I'm having something like whatever, a chuck eye. I bought some chuck eyes recently on sale, or whatever I'm having, you know? So, that's kind of how it goes. But the batch cooking really saves me for my son, because since we don't eat the same thing, it would drive me absolutely bonkers to have to cook 2 dinners every single night. So I cook twice a week for him. Right. And then I cook whatever I'm having. Sometimes I have leftovers, you know, but rarely for myself. If it's meat, because I don't like meat reheated, then I just eat it cold. Like today I had leftover picanha and I had that cold for lunch, just chopped up into steak bites.
I'm so glad you said cold meat. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was getting ready to talk about cold meat.
I also said
I prefer mine warm, but okay. So I'm going to bring my husband up here. My picanha.
Yes, I said picanha. I'm the picanha queen over here. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So my husband, he just retired. He's just retiring. He's a truck driver, and I love using him as an example because, and actually I did have one client who was a truck driver too. So that really was near and dear to my heart, because truck driving you really have to be creative. Now, my husband was not long over the road. Okay. I think that would almost be easier, because the bigger trucks, you have like a fridge and freezer and, you know, appliances to cook in, but day-to-day drivers where you're there and home, it's their box trucks. You don't have any of that. So for truck drivers who can't heat their lunch up, see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
You can get a little lunch size mini cooler. You can put an ice pack in there. You can take your hard-boiled eggs. My husband absolutely loved these. They were expensive, but they were worth it. The Green Ridge sausage sticks from Costco, which I think are pretty clean. He would take those. You can take cold burger patties. You can take cold strips of steak or picanha. If you do dairy, you can take cheese sticks. You can take a baggie of pork rinds, right? So there's a ton of stuff, even truck drivers. And if you're there and back in one day, you can take all that stuff and then you're home for dinner and you can have your big meal for dinner. So I love when people say, well, I don't have an office. I don't have a place to go to eat. Well, and in a pinch, you could go to like McDonald's, like you said, and get the burger patties, a la carte, just so you're not starving. I mean, you can even fast. The other Friday, I was in the hospital with my loved one, and we thought it was going to be a quick procedure, and it turned out to be more serious than that. And I was there from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. and I didn't have any food. I barely had any water.
Mhm.
I had some coffee, and then at noon I ran out of stuff to drink, and I wasn't going to pay $5 a bottle of water for the hospital water. So I basically dry fasted from noon until 6 p.m. And guess what? I felt amazing. Some people who are on this diet are like, well, didn't you feel like you're going to pass out? I'm like, no, actually, it's exactly what I needed to get through that day. And it was fine. And I didn't go eat the muffins at the shop downstairs or whatever the crap food that they had. So
Yeah.
you can,
Sorry, I was just going to say, because you said
no,
the whole
yeah.
passing out thing. I think people that don't eat the way we eat, they don't understand that if you don't eat for 6 hours, no, you don't feel like you're going to pass out. Because you know how I know? Because I used to feel like I was going to pass out.
Mhm.
If I didn't eat for a few hours, I'd be like, oh, I got to eat or I'm going to fall over. Like literally, and now it's like, if I don't eat, I may get a little hungry. And then it's like, okay, but it's not, I can still, work. And then if I'm busy, I'll forget that I was hungry. So that feeling will kind of go away. And it's not until
Yep.
I haven't eaten for like over, 24 to 36 hours that my body's like, feed me now. But if it's just like getting through an 8-hour day, I could pretty easily do that. And
Yeah.
it's not hard anymore the way that it used to be, which is so cool.
And I think what it boils down to is we're switching from being glucose burners to being fat adapted and using fat for fuel. And
Yes.
that's why the people on SAD diet don't understand. And I've known people, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I've known people that have passed out because they tried to fast and on SAD way of eating. And that's when the bad stuff happens. If you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, and you're burning glucose for fuel and not fat. That's my
Yeah, I
opinion.
think it's because you're spiking your glucose and then coming crashing low, and then it's that roller coaster that gets you. So we have some more
Absolutely.
comments in here. I probably should have starred them, but I was listening to you and talking, and I did not star them. But you had mentioned beef tongue, and Dustin agreed. He says that beef tongue is good, though it's not as cheap as it used to be. Like none of the beef is as cheap as it used to be. Picanha used to be a cheaper cut, and now it's like $10 a pound. It used to be more like $7, like wah, wah. Still cheaper than ribeye by quite a bit, but here he's saying it's about the same price as sirloin. Like if I had to choose between beef tongue and sirloin, I would choose sirloin and then put some butter on it. Like I'm probably not going to do
Well,
beef.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
I want to try it just because. And it was like $9.99. Is $9 or $10 a pound. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't like no $6.99 a pound or anything like that.
So I would like for people to put in the comments any new meats that they have tried since going keto or carnivore. Like picanha was one for me. I had never heard of it, and now it's one of my favorites, right? So I'm so glad I tried it. The other thing, I'm going to let you talk, Amy, because my gardener's here, and I know that's got to be really loud.
Okay. So also another thing that I wrote down is how to cook for work. So if you don't work, like luckily I work from home 4 days a week, but on Tuesdays today, how I cook for work is if we ever get burnt out on something, believe it or not, sometimes I cook a big ham or I cook a big, pork butt or whatever, and then there's leftovers and we're just ready to move on to something else. I will freeze those in individual packages, throw them back in the freezer, and then on Tuesdays I'll pull one out of the freezer, throw it in my bag along with my scrambled eggs, and then that's how I cook for work. I also will heat up, not all the way, I will throw some frozen burger patties in the day before and then scramble my eggs, and then I pack my lunch the day before. And then I just grab it early. I'm not a morning person like Christy. I'm usually an 11 p.m. or midnight person, and then I sleep through kilts. I love you, kilts, if you're listening to this, but the only time I ever wake up for kilts is when I'm having a bad morning and I woke up. So that's the other thing I do. The other thing I wanted to talk about is how to stay consistent for parties and gatherings, because I hear a lot of people who get derailed, not because this goes to the consistency thing that Christy was talking about. The purse bacon. I wrote that down. The purse bacon she already mentioned. Now when I was keto, I used to throw a bag of nuts in my purse too. I don't do nuts anymore, but if you're keto, you could do something like that. You could also put cheese if you're doing dairy. I don't. But you can take your meals with you. If you're going to your friend's house or you're going to a party or even sometimes like a wedding or something like that, all you have to do is tell the place that you're allergic to seed oils, gluten, anything, and they'll be like, you fine, you can eat your own food, right? So you can take your own food with you. Most of your friends have a microwave if you have to have it warm. Okay, otherwise you can do the cold meat like we talked about. Another thing, eat a good sized meal before you go. If you're going someplace that you know there's going to be stuff that's going to tempt you, eat your big carnivore meal before you go. And then when you get there, chances are that food that's there is going to be less appealing. The other thing that usually helps me, and I tend to get hungry at night a lot, I will drink water with electrolytes in it, salty water. Something about salt helps.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Salt hits the same receptor as like sugar in your whatever. It hits the same receptor. So that's why when you're having a craving and you do salt, it like quashes that craving.
Oh, you're gonna laugh.
Bam.
I have this. Hold on.
Okay.
They don't make these anymore.
Oh, the salt rocks.
They don't make them anymore from Redmond's.
They don't?
I got them from Redmond's, but I keep these with me everywhere. And usually I use them when I'm fasting, right? Because they help with fasting. But
yes.
Now I just use them like late at night when I'm trying to get stuff done and I should go to bed, but I can't because I have stuff to do and I'm hungry and I'm getting a snack attack late at night. I keep it right here on my desk. I keep it in my purse. I keep them everywhere. And I just as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to take one of these on the plane with me to Vegas next week. So
I had forgotten about those salt rocks. I remember Dr. Barry talking about them like when I first started, like years ago, and I never bought one.
I love them.
And now now I'm sad.
They don't make them. Someone must have choked on one or something and sued them, and now they can't make them. But you can find. So I mean, there's other companies that make them. We've talked about on Amazon. They're not going to be Redmond's brand, but you can find other brands of salt rocks, and I just love them. They're awesome.
So I just went to a family party last weekend. So I apologize to anyone who heard me on another live telling this story. But this is what I always do. Now, granted, my family is used to me by now because this is 3 years for me and my son 2 years, right? So they're like used to this. And so it was a family birthday party for a member of the family doesn't live in our household, right? So it's like extended family, not going to be at our house, going to be somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't say this before, so I'm going to say it now. For budget reasons, it's for budget reasons, guys. They were like only one burger patty per person. Like we can all understand. They brought a lot of food. They had a lot of food, but they were doing burgers and then a bunch of side dishes and things like that. But they're like, look, one burger patty per person because that's what we can afford. And I was like, great. So what I did was I brought a whole pack of burger patties so that anyone at the party who wanted a second, third, fourth burger patty could do that. And then I brought like a package of cheese, like sliced cheese. And then, so it just happened to be at the party too that my sister-in-law made some deviled eggs. So that was cool. So I ended up having 2 burger patties. Those are the occasions where I will have cheese. Usually I eat them plain, like if I'm at home, but if I'm out, make it fancy and have the cheese. So I had 2 burger patties with a slice of cheese on each one and 4 deviled eggs. Well, because they're halves, right? So 2 eggs, 4 deviled eggs, whatever you want to say. Yep, and it was delicious. I posted my plate on my posts tab on my channel just to say, look, this is what I did. But how was I able to get that? Because I brought the other burger patty and the cheese so that my son and I think my husband and my other son also had a second burger patty, even though they're not carnivore, because we brought them from home, and we were able to do that. That's the first time I've ever done that. But I've done plenty of times. I have brought the meat. So if people, like one time, my mother-in-law was having a ham. Well, although I made a ham that was like not a cured ham, it was pretty good because it's more just like a pork roast. It was super good.
But you had a country ham, I think. Is that a country ham?
Like, what did it say? It was called a ham roast. And I was like, what the heck is a ham roast? Oh, well, I'm going to cook it up. It was ham, but it was uncured. It was actually really good. Anyway, I digress. One time, my mother-in-law was going to make like a honey baked ham. And I was like, well, I'm not eating that. That's a little too far off in that direction of like the sugar, right, for what I wanted. So I was
Right.
like, I'll bring a picanha. So it will be ham and picanha. So I just made a picanha, brought it. Then people that wanted beef, I think everything but like 2 little slices of that picanha was gone because it was,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
everyone was like, give me the beef. And so I brought picanha that time. When I brought the pork roasts, my mother-in-law, my in-laws are just getting a little older. And it was like, look, you could use our house, but can you guys just do all the food? So what we agreed was I would do all the meat. So I did 2 ham roasts and a picanha. Then my sister-in-law did all of the sides for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of
Yep.
fair because meat's more expensive, but then she brought, I don't know, like 5 or 6 sides, but then I had like 3 roasts, right, that I made and did. And so it kind of worked out. So these are the kinds of things I do when I'm going to a gathering, that just make it sustainable for me. At other times, I brought a charcuterie board. Okay. Is that the perfect,
Yum.
most cleanest thing in the world? No, but it's meat and cheese. So at least I
Yep.
have that to eat, I'm lucky in the sense that my mom is like meat-based keto. So if we go to my mom's, like she's for sure cooking a whole bunch of meat and maybe a little veg. And then if everybody wants other things, like she's to the point now where she's like, look, if you want mac and cheese, you got to bring it yourself. So like if my brothers or whatever want that, they bring it themselves, it's pretty funny.
Well, and I'm getting there. And honestly, like I cook some of the sad diet food for holidays. I don't even know if I'm doing it good anymore because I don't even taste it to see if it tastes good because like I'm like, it is what it is. Hope it's good. So I usually make the same recipes over and over because I've been doing them for 20, 30 years, and so like I know how to do them in my sleep. But it's
Okay.
like, cheesy potatoes and stuff like that. But now that my family members are starting to have health issues, I may just be cooking mostly meat and a little veg and leaving the potatoes and pasta and stuff off because, I mean, there's multiple family members now that have health issues in my family, and it's gonna be like I'm getting to that point. If you want it, that stuff, you got to bring it yourself.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So that's what my mom does, and it kind of just, it works out. So Helix is saying, I make my water taste like salt and lemon when I go to parties. Amen. So yeah, just bring your electrolytes, whatever you like in that regard, and you should be good to go. And I'm just looking to see if anyone I think Mike had said something because I was asking about like, what meat are you doing? Or have you tried any new meat? I can't find it, but he was talking about leg of lamb or something like that. That was pretty economical. So that is cool. I wish I liked lamb. Amy, do you like lamb? I don't.
Okay, so about lamb, I have not bought lamb and tried it. That's another thing on my list of things to try. Now, the last time I had lamb, I went to this very expensive restaurant for my mom and dad's 60th wedding anniversary. And they have this, what they call the sword of John Adams, and it's this long sword thing with all this meat on it, right?
Okay.
So I ordered that, and there were these tiny little lamb chops on it, and they were overcooked and they were dry, and I ate them in 2 bites, and I'm like, this meal is like $80, $90 for this meal, and I could probably cook this better at home. So yeah. So
yes.
I was not happy with it, but now my boss, who's not keto or carnivore, says she did a lamb roast or something, and she said it's amazing. And she sent me her recipe. Now, I may not use all the seasonings she used. I'll probably just do salt, a couple different types of salt. But that is one of the things I want to try is lamb. Cooking it at home, not in a restaurant, right?
Yes. Okay. While you were talking, I was listening. But if I didn't look like I was listening, it's because I was reading and starring some things. So here we go. So Helix is asking if I will be at Meat Stock. Sadly, no, I will not. This time of year is very hard for me. We are going into state testing. So it seems like a lot of the meetups either happen like right now. I think Meat Stock is coming right up this weekend. we are going into state testing. So I have to be on point for that, because for us teachers, not that we like it, we don't like it, we don't control it. I wish they would throw the whole thing out the window, state testing. But it is very high stakes for us. And so there is a lot of pressure on us. For example, one example is they put our data up in front of everyone. Our data, like the scores, and then we get in trouble or not, or whatever, if depending on what that data looks like. So it is very high stakes for us teachers. So I really need to like be there. Then there's a bunch of meetups coming up right at the beginning of the school year. So like we start up, I think August, 12th, around there. In like, I want to go to the one in San Diego, because I could drive there easily. No, it's like the first weekend. It's like the first week of school. I'm like, well, I can't call a sub the first week of school. And there's a couple more like right then, like August, September, very bad.
We need more in the summer, in the middle of summer.
If it was in the summer, then I would go. In fact, I went to Hack Your Health like 2 years ago, the last one in Austin, because it was like in May after testing was over. So like I took a couple days off, but I could do that because testing was over. Then they moved it to like whenever it was, like September or something, like in Florida. I don't know. It was like a weird time and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So no, I want to go to Meatstock. I want to get to more meetups. I was just at the COSI, the one in Las Vegas. I'm hoping there'll be more meetups heading in the West Coast direction for my sake, just so that it's easier for me to get there. And then Gemma is saying new meat for me, liver, yuck, LOL.
Yum.
So I do not like liver if it's beef liver, because I have trauma. That word is overused. So I'm jokingly saying trauma. It's a joke. But when my mom used to make me, because my mom was like, you will clean your plate. And she did feed me liver sometimes, and I had to eat it, and it was disgusting. I will not do it. I did, when I first started, I tried like some pate, like some different kinds of pate. And it was okay. Like I didn't hate it, but I'm like, why am I doing this? No, thank you. I just stopped. I'm like, whatever. If I feel like I need something, I'll just take the liver, supplement, the freeze-dried liver. Like if I feel like for whatever reason I need it. And I know I'm supposed to put on my big girl pants and just eat my liver. I know, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I like to take beef liver, and I have one of those little KitchenAid mixers with a grinder attachment, and I put the liver through it and grind it. And then I mix it in hamburger, and I make hamburger patties, and then I pre-cook them a little bit, and I throw them in the freezer. And like once a month, I'll grab one. You don't have to eat a lot of liver.
No,
right?
You don't. That's true.
So once a month, maybe I'll have a liver burger, and it's not all liver. It's hamburger and liver ground together.
From what I've heard, you can't even taste the liver in there. Is that accurate? You can.
I can.
Okay.
I can, but it's not as strong as just eating the liver. Now, I made chicken liver pate. I made Nisha's recipe with the bacon grease, the bacon liver pate. That is delicious on pork rinds. I'm just throwing that out there. So Nisha Berry on her channel has this chicken liver pate, and it's really good. So that I do like. I haven't made it in a few years, but yeah, I just like liver burgers. And my sister used to make a bean liver and onions, and when I was a kid, I used to like eating that. So, and that was just straight livers, but I haven't had that in years. It's not something I would order at a restaurant or anything. And I don't know. It's not something I would probably cook at home, but yeah, I just mix it in with ground beef, and it does you can taste the liver. I mean, someone who had never had it would be like, this burger tastes a little off, right? Kind of thing. It's just, liver has a very distinct taste. So
yeah. Okay. And then we have another question. I think this came because I said meat-based keto, and I think I just used that phrase. I think that's where this question came from. So she's saying there's different types of keto, and the answer is yes, there are different types of keto. So in the movie Cholesterol Code, if you have not watched, I just thought of it because they showed them. They showed them up on the screen, the different ways you can do keto. There's even you could, not that I would, but you could do vegetarian keto. Keto just means that you are in ketosis, and the reason you're in ketosis, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Amy, because I'm not a coach at all. I'm an elementary school teacher, but it means that you're eating a high enough volume of fat in your diet that you are burn and you're and a low enough number of carbs that your fuel becomes fat. So you can totally do that even with vegetarian sources like, avocado, coconut oil, like that kind of thing. Would also do it. I don't recommend it. The reason that I said meat-based keto is because when I personally started keto, I had no idea what keto even was. And I was like, I just want to lose 20 pounds. How are people losing weight? Oh, keto, let me try that. And then I very quickly, after making that decision, like within a week, I got plugged into Dr. Barry. And so I started watching his keto playlist. And so he's talking about meat-based keto, meaning a bunch of your plate is meat with some veg on the side. You're not buying keto treats, keto, whatever, like all those other things. But yes, there are different ways to do keto. So when I say my mom is meat-based keto, she definitely has meat in every meal, but then she will include a few vegetables here and there. Like she'll still, if she has a salad though, she's not just eating a salad. She's eating a bunch of meat and then like a side salad, but usually it's kind of integrated more. I don't know, like artichokes or avocado or like the plants that she eats. I know those aren't necessarily vegetables. I'm trying to think what vegetables, if any. She notices that, one of the things that got better for her was her arthritis in her hands went away. Like the pain of it went away, the inflammation from it went away. And she notices like when her plant consumption starts going too high, her hands will start to ache. And so that's her cue to turn down the knob, cool it on the plants, and then her inflammation in her hands will subside again. So yeah,
that's amazing that she recognized that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I had to help her. I had to help her to that conclusion, Amy, because she sends me pictures of her meals sometimes. And I was noticing, I'm like, there's a lot of plants on that plate, like that in my brain. Like I didn't say it out loud. And then one day she said something to me like, man, my hands are like hurting. They haven't hurt for a while. And I'm like, do you think maybe? And so she's like, well, let me do an experiment, And so, yeah, she cut back on the plants and her hand, the inflammation in her fingers, it went right back away. Now she knows.
Well, and okay, so I have to ask you a question because I do love vegetables, right?
Okay.
I do love them.
Okay.
And somebody's like, okay, you only like salads because you can pour a bunch of ranch dressing and put bacon and egg on it, right? And I'm like, no, I used to, when I was chopping up a salad, take a raw piece of lettuce and just chew on it with nothing else. No salad dressing, nothing. So if you are that kind of raw, which, raw veggies aren't the greatest thing for you, but you must really love veggies if you will take a leaf of lettuce and just eat it plain, right? With nothing on it. So when people say you don't really love veggies, I'm like, I think I did. I'm not eating them. But one thing that I do once in a while, and don't call the carnivore police, but someone had said that fermented veggies are somewhat better than just eating raw veggies. And I don't know if this is true. I don't know if there's a way to prove this, that fermenting them removes toxins and also lowers the carb count to some degree. I don't know. I can't prove that. But so what I've been doing is I've been making some keto kimchi, and I just made keto fermented cabbage, sauerkraut, and I don't eat it every day. Maybe like once a week, I'll put a couple spoonfuls in a little tiny jar and I'll just eat that with my dinner. What are your thoughts on that? Call the keto police, everybody. Amy ate a vegetable. But what are your thoughts on that?
So I can't prove it either, but I have heard many people say, I think even including maybe even Dr. Barry, but don't quote me on that, but like many people talking about what happens when you ferment those things. Like I love kimchi too. I always have to caveat this by saying he's my step grandfather. Because when I say my grandfather was Korean, like I never think of him as my step grandfather, but you look at me and you're like, no, he wasn't. You're lying. But my mom's stepdad was my grandfather. Okay. And he was Korean. And we ate we ate kimchi. Like we'd go to their house and we'd have kimchi. So I do love kimchi, and I haven't had any since going carnivore, but I have had fermented pickles. So occasionally if I do buy a pickle, they do make fermented pickles. What I hear is, because when you ferment them, the microbes in there do eat some of the like sugars and things. And yes, it takes out some of the toxins. And so they are healthier for you. So if I was going to eat any kind of, I'm not gonna, but like higher level of vegetables or plants or whatever that I'm eating, I would for sure make them fermented. just for that reason. But I was not one to eat lettuce. And when I think, Amy, when I think now what I know about the glyphosate that's on that lettuce, I get the icks. I'm like, no.
Me
I have no
too.
desire now. And so it's like, why aren't you eating plants? Well, I don't want to. So I know a lot of people struggle, and I feel bad about that. And I wish they didn't, because they want to do, but like I've said before, I'm the accidental carnivore. I went carnivore accidentally because I just didn't want to eat the plants. So I didn't. And so no desire to eat plants has come back. Like I didn't have it to begin with. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do that. I don't want to make, zucchini, which is what vegetable.
You make a good point, because, they say organic veggies. Like, what are they claiming organic veggies are? That they're not sprayed with glyphosate? Because I am skeptical about that. I'm like, organic veggies come from somewhere. And I still think they probably spray them with pesticides. I mean, I don't know. So
Rick is incensed, Amy. How can anyone like a vegetable? He can't believe it. That's duck food, he would say.
Quack.
She's quacking, Rick. Maybe she's a duck.
Maybe I'm a duck eating duck food.
Yes. So organic. Now, I'm not an expert at all. What I've heard, again, I've just heard these things, is that for the organics, they're still sprayed with pesticides. It's just certain ones that are certified to be okay for organic. I'm like, look, if you're spraying it on there to kill something, then it's probably not something that I really want to eat. Even if it's not as bad, not as deadly. I don't know. That's weird. But they are still sprayed. They're still sprayed with something to keep the critters off.
Uncle Charlie says they spray them with organic pesticides.
Right, Uncle Charlie? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Yes. Okay, so Demet is saying, Kristen, I also went from keto to carnivore. First was Dr. Berg. Yes, because he used to recommend a lot more veggies. I think he's like kind of come back on some of that, but he was like, eat all the spinach, back in the day. But yes, Dr. Berg, then Barry and Chafee. Yes. It wasn't even, I didn't come into this because I knew about any of this. I came into this like, I just want to lose a few pounds. How are people losing weight? Like I said, keto, let's try it. And then I just happened to come across Dr. Barry, and the rest is history. Like I learned the stuff, all the things. And then I'm like, I can't go back. My students today said, well, wait a minute. Cause they said, have you ever eaten, they know I'm a carnivore. I have a shirt that says Team Carnivore. They know. And so they were like, well, wait a minute. I forget why it came up, but have you ever eaten a fruit? And I said, yeah, I've eaten a fruit. I've only been a carnivore for 3 years. And they're like, oh, so 47, like they know I'm 50. So if they said, so 47, I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, how long are you going to be carnivore? And then I'm like, the rest of my life. And then they're like, that like shocked them. They're like, oh, but it also shocked them to know that I haven't always been a carnivore and that I have eaten fruit before. They're trying to figure it out, But yeah, I wouldn't go back. I couldn't go back to the way I used to be. That was very bad. And then when I think about, I just don't even like the plants. I don't even see the need, except like I said, I'll do the occasional avocado, the occasional pickle. We're talking once every month or 2 months, 3 months.
Right.
When I'm like, if I go out to eat with my husband and we get burgers, then I might have some pickle. Or like if we go out to breakfast, right? Then I'll have some avocado with my omelet or whatever,
my dad and I both like Mexican food, right? And nobody else in our family does. So that used to be our jam, was to go get like a bowl. And when I was keto, I would get like the meat and the vegetables. I may, when I go out, because I promised him I would go to lunch with him like we used to, now that he's keto, and show him how to order off of a menu. I may have some green peppers and, like a fajita mix. I may do a fajita mix. Now, I've heard a lot of people say the seasoning on that stuff messes with them. So I'm sure I'll probably pay for it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just one meal, one time, and it's not every day, it's the load is probably going to be low. Right. The load will be low. But call the police. I don't know.
So I want to bring this up, that Dustin's point up, because I 100% agree. We should figure out how to talk about food without being divisive to attract more people. I am not going to say no one should ever eat a plant ever. I just said, like, I eat the plants that I still sometimes eat are avocado, pickle, and I do have coffee like every single day. So yeah, I am not the strict carnivore. Take my carnivore card, whatever, you know. I know I'm a lot stricter than a lot of people, right? There are people that eat, I guess you could label it if you want, you know, more keto, which would include more plants, like my mom. You guys, my mom is doing fantastic. She is 73. She's on no medication. She's been on more international trips in the last 2 years than I've been in my entire life. You know, she went to Italy, she went to Greece, like all over the place. She, you know, she's just doing fabulous. So am I going to go and be like, meh, 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 you need now? Did I make the suggestion about the plants? Because yes, because she said my hands are hurting. So I made the suggestion. Otherwise, even though in my eyes took in that I saw, you know, that her plant consumption was going up, but that's her thing. Like whatever, as long as she's feeling good. When she told me, "Oh, my hands are starting to ache," that's when I said something. I want my, even though I personally, I guess, would call myself a carnivore just because of the sheer volume of meat that I eat, like, I want my channel to be about, like, you know, all, if you eat like, you know, proper human diet, great. And if you don't and you're here, welcome. Like, I hope that maybe we're intriguing you a little bit. Maybe you're curious or whatever to learn about what we're doing over here. Like, all people welcome over here on my carnivore channel with my let's meet up right at the top of the screen over there, you know?
And I'll add to that, you know, as I'm a health coach, and the people that I coach are anywhere from low carb. Well, I haven't had anyone lion diet, but low carb all the way to, you know, carnivore. So we need to promote all spectrums. So if you guys are in anybody's live stream or chat, and I was okay, so I got to say this. I know it's a past 7, but I was keto for 8 years and I didn't go carnivore until last summer. And I'll be honest, Dustin brings up a good point here. I would go into some of the live streams and some people were being so dogmatic about you can't have a pickle or you can't do this or that. And I'm like, why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Now I know why we want to do this because I feel so amazing. But when people go into live streams, I went into the carnivore live streams for years and I'm like, I just don't know, you know, I don't want to kind of be part of people picking apart other people because they ate a pickle or went out to a restaurant and had a salad, you know, once a year or drank iced tea or coffee or whatever. So I totally get what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't think,
kind of wear on
in
me.
my opinion, so he says the way people talk about keto versus carnivore tends to divide more than bridge the gap. So if I ever sound like that, that is not my intent to sound like that, because I think it's a spectrum, right? I think it's a spectrum, and then you can kind of go up and down that spectrum. Some people go to carnivore for a while and then go back, you know, and then add a few more plants and go more keto or low carb or whatever. I have a live stream planned in May, like just in another week or so, with my friend Nicole. You might remember her. Her old handle was former fat girl. And she was carnivore or like very close to it. And now I don't even know. She doesn't even track anymore. But like, we're friends because that's how we met. Guess what? We're gonna do a live stream together. I don't really even know how she's eating, and I don't care. She's a friend of mine. She got out of the carnivore space because she couldn't handle it. I know she added whatever she added back, and that's fine. I'm doing a live stream with her, and that because we're friends and we want to do a live stream together because we're both YouTubers. Like, it's fine. Awesome. So I don't think it's keto versus carnivore, and that makes me sad. I think it's
me too.
Wherever you fit on that spectrum that works for you, works for that person. Like, what I'm doing works for me. I am not white knuckling carnivore because this is the best way. This is just what I like. This is the part of the spectrum of, you know, healthy eating where I personally fit, and I found my space where I feel my best and I enjoy it. And I'm not going, oh, I just really wish that I could just have, you know, XYZ. Because if I want it, I'm going to have it. Coffee, pickles, avocados. If I want those things, I'm going to have them. I don't like, oh, I really want that avocado, but I'm a carnivore, so that's a plant. So no, no.
Right.
Right. That's not how it is. So I agree, Dustin. I don't think it should be like a versus kind of a situation at all.
I don't think so either. Wow. I don't think so either.
So, I think Helix asked a question and then rephrased it. So she said, do you think they do anything like spraying, when they are just seeds? Do you think they put anything on the seedlings? And then she said, how do seeds work? And should you be careful which types of seeds you buy? That is worded better. I don't grow things. I don't have a green thumb. Like that skipped a generation, I feel, because like I don't even know, it didn't skip a generation. My grandma could grow things. My mom can grow things. I can't grow a thing. Like I have the opposite of a green thumb. Okay. Whatever that is. A brown thumb. I don't know. It's like everything I try, like I try so hard and it just dies. So I stopped trying.
Me too.
But I know they have seeds that are like the heirloom seeds that aren't like genetically modified, right? So some seeds have been genetically modified, and then you can buy like if you want to plant some kind of food. If I was going to plant some kind of food, I would probably try to find the heirloom seeds, I think they're called, that are not genetically modified, if that makes sense. And I hope that answers your question. Do you know any? That's all I know, and it's only through word of mouth. I don't grow anything. I don't know.
Plants come to my house to die. Now,
Yes.
I can do some cherry tomatoes and some green peppers.
No, I cannot.
In pots, because I hate going outside to weed, and pots are easier. So I do potted stuff. But no, like plants and stuff, like they don't like me, so they die. Like,
yes, me too.
I have a few plants in my kitchen that I'm trying to keep alive. One of them I've kept alive since 2021 because it's the plant that we got when my sister-in-law passed away at our funeral. So that one I'm really trying hard to keep alive because it's sentimental.
I understand.
But the other ones, like they just don't like me. I don't know if I water too much or water them too little, or I don't know.
A lot of times teachers will get plants as gifts, and I have to like put a student in charge of it. I'm like, if I do anything and somehow it lives, I'm like, just water it when you think it needs water. Like it'll live. And then at summer break, I give it to somebody. Like I'll give it to my mom or a teacher friend of mine that has plants. Like there's one I gave her like 7 years ago. She's like, yeah, it's still alive. It's still growing. I'm like, well, good. Because I would have killed it dead. That's pretty funny.
Me too.
Okay, so Gemma is like pickles or cucumbers. Yes, pickles or cucumbers. And there's some, like I said, some fermented ones that I really enjoy. So I'm like a dill pickle person, but there's a fermented brand. I can't think of the name. And they are salty. So the ones that I get. So yes. Karen says she added cooked cauliflower back in my diet. Karen, if you like cauliflower, you do it. I used to make like the cauliflower, I think they call it like cauliflower mash. It does not taste like potatoes, so I won't go.
Yeah, I made it too.
But I would put them cook them, puree them in the food processor with a bunch of butter and stuff. I did like them, but it's a lot of work. I don't want to do it.
It is.
Someone else made it for me. I might have a couple bites, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, I don't do that. And then John stopped in and said, just got back from my 3-mile walk, hanging out with the cows and the horses. That sounds like my kind of life. Going for a 3-mile walk and hanging out with cows and horses.
Yes.
I only really get to walk in the summer because I like morning walks, but like during school, I can't do it. So during summer, I go on a morning walk pretty much every day, like a sunrise walk. I can hardly wait because we only have 32 more school days. I'm not counting or anything, but 32 more school days until summer vacation. And then I will be going on a morning walk like at sunrise. I'll probably film some shorts because I did that last summer, I'm out here for my walk and like the sunrise. We have hot air balloons here. So we'll see like the hot air balloons and it's really cool.
Oh, I bet you that's beautiful.
It is. It is really cool. So, well, Amy, I mean, this was a great live. Look at all these people. This has been a great time. I appreciate it. I'm just looking for any more questions. Oh, here Kelly says, you want to buy the heirloom seeds because you could save the seeds. Okay, Kelly, thank you. Hybrids, you can't save the seeds. That makes so much sense. So once you have them, you can keep like going forward with your own seeds and not having to buy seeds all the time.
I didn't even know what an heirloom was. I just thought it was a type of tomato.
It is a type of tomato. It's a type of tomato. Anyways, I do have a son who is at the after school program, and I have to go get him now. So I just want to say thank you, Amy. This was great. I will definitely invite you back. This is our second live we've done together. I've had a great time with you both times. So this has been great.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for having me on. And I just got to apologize real quick to the people on my stream. I screwed up the stream and had to start a second stream on my channel. So thank you all for finding me. I appreciate it. And thank you, Christy.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm so glad you were able to get over there. There's a bunch of people watching from your channel. So I think they found you just fine. Thank you to everyone watching live with us. Thank you for making the chat so active. I enjoyed that, although I did not keep up with it very well, but I did enjoy it. So thank you. If you are watching on the replay, drop me or Amy a comment down below. I know both of us read and respond to our comments. We love hearing from you. Last time, like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. And I will see you guys on Saturday morning. You guys, I'm interviewing Coach Steven. So looking forward to that.
That will be great.
Yeah. Bye.
Another week of good times rolling. So glad you came and chilled with me. Thanks for sharing all your stories. Yeah, this is where we need to be. Same time, same place, next week we'll stride. Ooh, come on back now. We'll meet up on the wellness side. Yeah, meet me on the wellness side.